Welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be creating this look right here. It is definitely fall appropriate. Fall is finally and officially here, so there's no stopping it. But I love fall. A lot of people love fall, but I specifically love fall for the colors. I actually live in a climate where the weather does actually change, so I do see the leaves falling and all of that jazz, and it's so beautiful. Kind of sad to see summer go, but definitely love the fall vibes, the colors, the activities, just everything that fall has to offer. I really feel like browns, neutrals, and like orangey, reddish tones look the best on my skin tone, especially orange and browns. Like, I love me a good orange and brown eyeshadow palette. Today's look is created using this palette right here. This is the 35G Bronze Goals palette, and at first I didn't think to use this palette for this kind of look or for fall in general. I thought it was just going to be like a summertime palette, but in reality the color story on this definitely screams fall as well, so you can definitely create something fall like with this palette. Obviously I did it. I am going to show you guys how I did that today. The eyeshadow portion of this video is voiceover, so I hope you guys don't mind, but the base makeup, all of this other stuff, is definitely one-on-one talk through. So let's go ahead and cue my bare-faced prime lids in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright guys, so we're just going to jump right into the voiceover part of this tutorial, and I'm starting with my eyes as I said before, and I'm taking the shade Deserted. Now I don't remember all the shades in this palette, and unfortunate for me, I threw out the little clear thing that came in the middle of it. It was just a hassle to keep that in there, but nonetheless, this is the shade Deserted, and I am using this as a light transition shade in my crease before I move on to any other shadows. Now I'm taking this matte ginger shade as it's described, and the shade is called Naked, and I'm just really using this to also build it in my crease and on my outer corner. You will notice I take the brush and swirl it on the outer edges of my eye and kind of staple that shade on there because I really want to build this color up. This color is super beautiful on the eyes. It's definitely very stunning and it screams fall for sure, so I'm just really using this to build it up as much as possible. So as you can see, I really built that color up, and I just got it to be super bold. Now I'm going to take this clean blending brush, and I'm just going to use this to further blend out the shadow on the outer edges of my eye because I don't want it to look patchy. I want it to look in sync and just flow beautifully. So I'm just taking a clean blending brush to do so, just to fluff it all out, and then I'll go back in with a little bit more of that same shadow. Now using Equator, which is a matte coffee bean kind of shade, I'm using that and really packing that on my outer V area just to bring again a little bit more depth and color into that area. I just really want to darken it up and make it as dark brown as possible. So this is probably what I would consider the second to darkest shade, if not the darkest brown shade in the palette, so I'm really using this just to build it up. I think it goes really nicely with the previous two shades that we've laid down, and it looks really good. Now I'm going to carve my lid out. Now I'm not the best at doing this. I don't even cut my lid enough to even be good at it, but I do what I can and I do my best. But basically I'm doing this so that way I can lay out the space in which I'm going to put the next shadow down. So all you got to do is just carve out your lids. Honestly, you don't even need to carve out your lid for this look. If you didn't want to, you can just go straight in with shadow, but I was just trying to be extra today, so I definitely did carve it out. It came out decent, but I still need more practice. So right on top of the concealer, we're going to use the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder, and this is basically not only going to set that concealer down, but it's actually going to act as my quote-unquote eyeshadow, you know. So I'm just going to pack this onto the lid everywhere where I put that concealer, and then I will blend that same darker shade that we used previously, which is Equator, kind of like on the outer edges of it and a little bit into the crease. That way it looks a little bit more seamless, a little bit more undone. Now I'm taking this matte black called Deep End, and I'm using that to smoke out this lovely wing liner that I thought I captured on camera, but unfortunately I did not, So I'm sorry about that, but I just did a really thin wing liner. I tried to do my best with this, so they might be a little off, but I'm using that matte black just to kind of smudge it and smoke it out a little bit on that line. That way it doesn't look too perfect, and just kind of blowing that outer corner out a little bit more. Finally, I'm coating my eyelashes with a little bit of mascara. This is the NARS Climax, which I love. And then finally, I will put on my false lashes, and then we can move on to the face. So now we're gonna move on to the face and our base makeup. Now what I'm gonna be using for foundation is the NARS Sheer Glow Foundation in the shade Tahoe. I'm just gonna take a little bit of this foundation, or as much as I think I'm gonna need. And I'm using my Sephora 47 foundation brush just to put the foundation on my skin, but I'm gonna blend it in with a beauty sponge. And this foundation in particular doesn't have a pump. You can buy a pump separate if you want. Now I'm gonna take my Morphe sponge and I'm just gonna blend everything in and just tap this into my skin. This foundation does appear a little like orange. We will make it all work. By the end, it'll look decent. I'd rather have like a yellow undertone in my foundations versus like a gray kind of undertone, because some foundations that I have do have like that gray look to it, and I just really don't like it. Look at baby girl back there. She's actually sitting on the little sofa in my room, the little bench thing. She is always in here with me. For concealer, I'm going to use the NARS Natural Radiant Concealer in the shade Caramel. And what I'm going to do with this, actually I'm just going to apply it straight from the tube. Sometimes I take this foundation or concealer and I apply it onto the back of my hand and then use like a concealer brush to apply it to my face. But I don't have time for that today. So I'm just gonna be applying it straight on the tube. So I'm gonna take that same Morphe sponge and blend all of this out. And then I'm gonna get what's in the middle of my forehead, or center of my face, I should say. Just tap that out. And then for the under eye, I wanna take this concealer brush that I have got recently. This is the M705, and it has like this perfect point. I want to use this to blend out closest to my under eye area. I'm still going to use the sponge, but I want to get like really up in there. Maybe not to like blend out the concealer, but to push it up under there so it gets really close to my under eye area is really good to use this for. Now I'm going to use this straight edge part on the Morphe sponge just to press underneath my eye, just to press that concealer underneath there. Bam! I like that. So I'm going to do the same thing to this side. This concealer is not a super liquidy consistency. And if it was, it'd probably be much easier to like move this concealer underneath my eye, but I still really do enjoy using this. So I decided to cream contour today. At first I wasn't going to, but I'm gonna use the L'Oreal Infallible. This is their longwear shaping stick, and mine is in the shade number 410 Cocoa. So this is what it looks like. And I'm just gonna use this to cream contour a little bit my cheeks, and I'm just gonna take this angled brush. This is the JH04. Just going to go like this and then press it to the sides of my face like that. Do a little bit around the perimeter of my forehead, but I have to be very careful because of my baby hairs. Now to set everything down and in place, well, I'm basically just going to be setting my T-zone in my under eye area. And I'm going to use the Huda Beauty Banana Bread Loose Powder. I've actually really been enjoying this powder. And I'm just going to use it on my sponge. So I'm just going to dip my sponge into product. Tap it off on the back of my hand. And then I'm gonna directly apply that underneath my eyes first. And just really press that powder in. And this powder also has like a scent to it. I think all Huda's products have a scent. And then just press that under this side over here. Okay, so now I'm just going to just press all of that in as much as I can. And then I'll go in with like a fluffy brush just to remove any excess powder that may or may not be lingering on my face. But for the most part, this middle section of my face is like mattified, so we're good. So I'm just gonna use this little no-name brush just to wipe off everything. Just any lingering powder, just dusting it off. Normally I would like set my whole entire face and, you know, just use powders galore, but because it's getting a little bit cooler outside, I don't need to do all that. Just really set my T-zone, and that's really about it. Before I bronze up my skin and finish everything else off, I am gonna do my lower lash line. And basically what I wanna do is take those same browns that we used at the top, bring them down to the bottom, smoke it out real nice, and then put some mascara on. I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Lash Discovery Lash Mascara. This stuff is really good. The wand is super, super tiny. It reminds me of the L'Oreal Telescopic, which I do have, but it's actually a little bit thinner than that, and it just really gets those bottom lashes, so that's why I like using that for that. But I'm just gonna take some of these brown shades now in this palette. Probably gonna do like this one for sure, and this one. So 1, 2, and 3. This palette does have shade names, but they're not on here, and I don't have the film anymore that was in front of it with all the names on it. It was just a hassle to keep it. So if you have this palette, just replay the tutorial and kind of see where I was pointing to. But again, it's gonna be this one, so we're gonna take this one first. And we're just gonna use this underneath my lash line. Then I'm gonna grab this one right over here. So it's like the one right above that black, which is a little bit darker. Okay, and then before we get any more darker, I'm gonna wipe this off and go back in with this one on the opposite eye, because then it won't look right. I think that looks really nice. Now I'm debating whether or not I wanna put this dark, dark brown. Let's go ahead and do it. So I'm gonna go in with this super dark chocolate brown. Just very lightly. I really love the way that browns just look underneath on my bottom lash line. I just really love smoking out brown underneath there. It just looks super nice and put together. I'm gonna grab this more fluffier brush, and I'm gonna go in back into that first shade that we grabbed, tap it off, and then just use that just to blend everything together and really smoke it out. So as I was applying the mascara on my bottom lash line, I realized I didn't put any liner in my waterline, and I do want to put some brown there, but in the meantime, while that's drying, let's kind of add to our brows as I always do. So I'm taking my Tarte Man Eater palette, and I like to use the shade Midnight, which is this really dark brown over here. And I'm just going to create a few fake brow strokes in the front of my brow, just so they look a little bit more put together. I don't know, it's something I've done time and time again, and I really, really like it, so that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, I think these might be a little intense. Especially this side, like these brow hairs in the front just wanna go this way, and really I want them to go up. And no matter how many times I brush these brow hairs up, the left side stays, but the right side just doesn't act right. So just add a few little hair strokes, and then I'll take my brush or spoolie. I guess I'll just take this spoolie and just brush that up. Just comb it out so it's not looking crazy. So now that that's done, I'm gonna use the Gimme Brow from Benefit and just add this on top. kind of like as a like finishing coat. And then for my waterline, I'm going to be using this NYX eye pencil. This is their professional makeup eye pencil in the shade dark brown. So I'm just going to use this to line my waterline, and I'm just going to use a sponge to hold my eye open and then apply. I definitely prefer to use brown versus black because I feel like it looks just as nice as black, but just not as harsh and intense. So this is definitely a great alternative to using black liner. So that's it for the eyes. They are finished and complete. Now we can move on to finishing off the base makeup. I'm gonna use this bronzer. This is the powder bronzer in Saddle from Anastasia in Beverly Hills. And I'm just gonna use this to bronze my cheeks. I'm trying to figure out what brush I wanna use. I should have figured that out already. We're gonna use this one. This is the e.l.f. This is an e.l.f. brush. This is like their big fluffy brush. This is, it says number 101. And it looks like this. And I'm just gonna use this to bronze because I want a lot of bronzer today, so I think this is perfect. Gotta be kind of careful on my forehead area just because of my baby hairs. I feel like this bronzer adds a nice warmth to the cheeks, and it just looks really, really good. Especially in contrast to our eyeshadow, it definitely looks really good. I love it. For blush, we're also going to be using Anastasia, and this is the Trio Peachy Love. I'm just going to use the mauve tone and the orange. No, actually I'm going to use these two right here. Like the tangerine kind of color and the real orange one. Miami and Ginger, which is these two. I feel like I mixed it better on this side than this side, but I mean, I really love these two colors together. Just screams fall. It's very summery fall, like universal, let's just say that. Very universal shades. I love this Peachy Love palette. Okay, and for highlight, I'm gonna go in with this Ofra highlighter in Bali. It's so, so beautiful. Oh my gosh, you guys. So beautiful. Can you even see that? You can see the glow, that's for sure. But it's super beautiful, and I'm just gonna use this on my nose, above my lip, and down the bridge of my nose. I'm also gonna press it on my temples and my chin a little bit, because I really want that glow. And then I'm gonna use my highlighting brush, and I'm gonna do my cheekbone. I just think this highlighter is so glowy. So beautiful. Like, look at that. I really, really love this highlighter. I think it's so, so beautiful. I love that highlight. I can continue to apply and apply and apply, but let's not go overboard. And then I'm just gonna set all of this with the dewy set. But before I use the dewy set, I'm gonna use a little bit of the Morphe. Continue setting this. Just spray this one first. And then the other one will give us like that extra glow. First, let me let this one dry, and then we'll finish off with the Anastasia one. So for the lips, I want something a little nude. You guys already know. I'm gonna use my Makeup Forever pencil in Wherever Walnut. This pencil right here is like what MAC Strip Down is for other people. I'm gonna take MAC's Kinkster, and I believe this is their new Powder Kiss line, like matte Powder Kiss line. I love this shade. I'm just gonna put this on top, and then I'm gonna take a little, just a little bit of the L'Oreal Pro Matte Liquid Lipstick in Sweet Tooth, and I'm gonna put this on the center. This smells so good, you guys. Like, oh, I can smell this for days. I kind of am wondering if I were to take the brown liner. Kind of like that. Ooh. Okay, and then to finish off the entire look, I'm gonna spray some of this. This is the Anastasia Dewy Set Spray. So Okay, beauties, this is the finished and final look. I hope you all enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed creating this look. Definitely make sure you sound off in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think, as always. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys super soon in the next video or vlog, whichever one comes first.